The Catholics of Oz is brought to you by the Star Quest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
You're listening to episode 49 of The Catholics of Oz. The Catholics of Oz is a show where we discuss faith, culture, and what's been happening from an Aussie perspective. Whether it's synods or science, apostolates and apps, providence or productivity, you can hear it right now on The Catholics of Oz. Hello, my name is Lindsay Sant. Welcome to episode 49 of The Catholics of Oz. It's so good to have you with us. Our second episode of the year, and so we're going full steam ahead. Now, if you remember our last episode, I was alone with Caroline because Lino was unavailable to record. This time, Caroline is unavailable to record, and I have Lino with me. Lino, Sabol, how are you going today?
I'm good, Lindsay. Happy New Year, everyone. Even though it's, what was it? What is it? The 6th of Feb.
Already, yeah.
a month too late to say Happy New Year. But anyway, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone had a safe and joyous holiday, Christmas.
Good thing you said it now, because if you left it any longer, you'd be saying Happy Easter. Because
I know, goodness me, it's come
Ash Wednesday is not too far away.
It's not so far, man.
Yeah,
it's like a couple of weeks, is it? Oh, just look at a calendar.
Yeah, well, Feb 17th is Ash Wednesday from memory. Yeah, yep.
Wow, a couple of weeks. Is it me, or is this once again this year's going flying by? Or even though, can we talk about 2020? Yeah, what happened in 2020? Yeah. But
I know 2020 seemed to crawl a bit, didn't it? Yeah, 2021 seems to, it's zooming away from us.
Zooming away from us.
Yeah. So anyway, Lino, I don't know, did you and Caroline have some kind of like dispute off air that I don't know about, and just can't be on the same podcast together? What's going on?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I can't remember what happened last time. I got it why I was on the podcast. I apologize again. Oh god, it could just be Tom. Once again, I did it again.
What did you do, Lino?
I promised to be on there of the first day, first time on the episode for the first year. Oh my goodness, mate! Yeah, I couldn't make it.
That's all right.
But yeah.
So the real reason Caroline isn't here is because she put fun before her duties, her podcasting duties.
Oh, rock on!
Well, rock on. Yeah. So what happened was her husband Phil Knight is part of the New Zealand rock band she had, and they had some shows in Melbourne, including last night. So of course she went to see and support her husband. As they rocked on. And in fact, even if Caroline could wake up this morning to podcast with us, because I'm assuming she had a very late night and would be very tired now, I don't think she'd be able to hear anything that was saying anything. Because, I've been to two She Had shows. I went to one where they were the warm-up band for, if you remember, Evanescence.
Wow.
Wow. So at... was it Vodafone? Not Vodafone Arena. It was Vodafone Stadium, whatever it used to be called at that time. Anyway,
exactly. Yes.
So that and even that big open space, and it was like super loud. I was going deaf. Like so, we got to hang out in the green room, which was kind of cool. I was there with Caroline as well.
Yes.
And what is it? And for about 2 or 3 minutes, the band Evanescence, actually popped in and said hello, and they didn't actually talk to me. They talked to Phil's band. I'm a nobody, so they don't know who I am. It's like, who's this guy? Security,
should wear like a VIP thing, Liz.
I should have worn a suit and looked official and like, this way, ma'am. And then the other one was the SB in the city. Is it St Kilda? The Esplanade? Yeah, so that's a smaller, sort of more intimate kind of setting, so a couple of hundred people.
Great place to go to.
My eardrums were dead for, I don't know. It was, because it's so loud in such a small space. It's so loud because it's so small space.
Yeah, I've been a few times with Caroline, and it's a great, Esplanade Hotel in St Kilda for all the guys in Melbourne. Great place to go to. I think they've renovated it.
I have a feeling they have since.
They had to do the renovation, but the place, that's where a lot of good bands have been there, and majority of the time I've been with Caroline there. It's great. Great bands there, man.
Yeah, I'm not generally like one to go out to shows or whatever. It's not, I'm more the introvert. Like, I'm happy to stay at home and watch something on TV, hang out with the family. But like Caroline invited me in to support the band and everything, and it was good. They're very entertaining. Very like all rock, and they've got they've got like a hardcore following of some, of the fans because the band is 20 something years old now. That's been around for ages.
It has been.
They've
for
already
ages.
released the best of, like that kind of stuff. So,
like all the other bands have been doing lately. Yeah.
And actually, speaking of it, I'll put it in the show notes. They did a cover of Split Enz. Is it "I Got You"? Is that the name of the song? They've done a cover of it.
On Facebook.
Yeah. And then Phil and John, who's the lead singer, they did an acoustic cover of it for Triple M, which is like our Aussie rock station, here in Australia.
That's right.
So I'll put a link to the show notes. So if anyone wants to see an acoustic version of what they're like, but so that was good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So let's get the show on the road, Lino. Before we begin, we just want to remind everyone to like the Catholics of Oz on SQPN's Facebook page at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. You can see updates about all the shows from SQPN there, including this one. Also, you can follow on Twitter, where you can find us at SQPN. And if you're new to listening to the Catholics of Oz, don't forget, please, to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, or your favorite podcast player. SQPN also hosts the Catholics of Oz on YouTube, so you can hear the audio of our show there. So just subscribe there, and don't forget to hit the bell and get notifications when new episodes are released. Please also, if you could leave us a lovely 5-star review with some nice comments on any of the platforms that you listen to podcasts to. It helps us to grow this community and meet new people. And, every so often we're getting emails from people who listen. And this is what I mean when I say this is a two-way conversation. We love to hear from the people who listen. We don't want to just throw words at you. We actually want to say things and hear what you think as well. So thank you to those, it's not a lot of people, but it's a couple of people. But thank you to the people who do write to us. We really appreciate it. And we do want to hear from the people that listen. So please join in. Everything that anyone says is valuable and important, and we'll always respect it and treasure it as well. So thanks for that. So, Lino, before we get into any topics, last time Caroline and I did a show, we just gave a brief update in our lives and what was happening. So, because we didn't have you last time, give us an update. What's been happening in Lino's world?
Started work back on the 4th, which was great because back in the days we used to start on the 2nd, and wow, that was a struggle. But it was great. It was all good. Coming back on the 4th was good. Let's say we had a bit of issues and complications with our insurance company. That's all I could say.
Oh yes, we have. I
think we've talked to you guys about it, and it just took almost a month for us to sort it out.
It's an epic struggle, from what you and Bernie were telling me. Yes,
it was. But everything else is good, man. We had we had a barbecue. You guys came. The Trapnells, so Jared came, and then we invited both Father Michaels.
We had two Father Michaels.
Father Michaels. It's almost seen double in a sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, the name says. But
such a confusing evening when you've got two Father Michaels there.
And you can't say the older one and the new one and the younger one and all that stuff. It's just not right for us. But so the two are Father Michaels. So for the listeners,
just to clarify for our listeners, one was our previous parish priest. He's the retired Father Michael.
Father Michael
Shadbolt. Yeah,
yes, right.
And the current Father Michael, Father Michael Payapili, who's our current parish priest.
Yes, right. That's right. Great priests, and it was great to have them both
good
there.
People.
Yeah, I must admit, one thing. Well, there was many things that happened that night that struck my mind, but it was great when we were about to bless the food. And I don't know if you saw that, Lindsay. We asked Father Shadbolt if he could say bless the food. Yeah. And he goes, no. You know how he is. He goes, no. He started pointing at Father Michael Papapilli, and he goes, are you sure? He goes, yeah. And we say, Father Papapilli, can you say the press? And Father Papapilli, he goes, no, it should be Father Shadbolt. I'm like, oh my goodness me. And I think, I was dinner a bit late. I didn't say that. And we were going, we're so hungry. We need someone to bless the food. We're so hungry.
It is a brand new phenomenon to me. Nothing is grander to see than two priests debating which one of them should bless the food so that we can all eat. That was hilarious. Yeah,
it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Like, no, you should do it. It's like all the excuses like, no, you're the senior priest. You should do it. But you're the parish priest. You should do it.
Yeah.
I think to clarify this, there should be maybe a canon law somewhere that settles the issue. Just so
I was just wondering, what did you do half and half? Bless us, O Lord. and these are gifts, and then
just
the
in tandem, yeah,
in tandem, or even do it as a chorus, to say it together, all that, yeah. It was so cool. It was so cool.
This is why you and I don't write canon law and make the rules, Lino.
Look, we'll be really different. We'll be probably in trouble, but we'll be different. That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a wonderful night. Just relaxing. It was good just to have a bit of a laugh and talk about some of the ups and downs of parish life, and to hear how our Father Michael's retirement is going, and how he handled the lockdowns last year, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Lockdowns for us so far was okay. We came back to normal working hours again.
Yep.
So that was good. So there's no split shifts like I was saying from previous episodes. So we're back from thinking of what the Dolly Parton song, working 9 to 5. For us it's 8 to 4:30.
It's pretty much that though, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's back to normal with that, and no, everything is all good. So is everything good? Thinking that what's happening now, Linz? We've been on the news about the COVID for us.
Yeah, we're kind of a bit over the shot. But at the moment, there was just recently there was a staff member who works in hotel quarantine, who did get infected with the UK variant of the so this is the more infectious one of COVID-19. Now this kind of sent people into a little bit of a spin temporarily because hotel quarantine last time not going well. Made things not so good. However, our contact tracing is really good, so they got onto this pretty quickly, and they've found the close contacts. They're testing everyone, so things are happening. And we've just gone back to that New Year's Black Rock set of restrictions, which essentially is no more than 15 people visiting a household, plus the people who are in the household. So so it's not too bad. Yeah. And then face masks at all indoor venues. So
in all indoor venues again. Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be a temporary measure until they get this latest cluster. We're going to have clusters every now and then until the vaccine rolls out properly. So
exactly. It's good news though is it is rolling out. And like Father Michael was saying that hopefully it goes out to the more poorer places as well.
Yeah, well, the most vulnerable, they're the ones who really need it first, aren't they? Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, and our frontline workers, obviously, and all those people who who keep the country going, and keep the health system running. Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Well, in my life, just a couple of brief things. Now, at time of recording, this will be like 2 weeks ago, but earlier this week, my school had its Year 12 and Year 10 reflection days. So these are retreats that we have to start things off for those students and give them a positive start, build relationships with their teachers, do some faith content, things like that.
Nice.
But the big thing is that we had Father Rob Gallier again. We get him every year.
I saw that on Facebook.
And he was awesome. So he presented to our Year 12s on the second day. So we had him for a whole day. He did 2 sessions and then celebrated Mass with them.
Oh, wow.
And he was wonderful, as always. We spoke to him backstage, and it was his first gig, like his first public speaking presentation since lockdown. So
lockdown, exactly.
So we were kind of his test audience, and we were joking that he was saying you guys have heard my testimony like 3 or 4 times now, and I said we could do it for you if you want. We all started laughing. So it was good. But the thing is, he's so good at speaking about his faith.
Exactly.
And offering hope. He's got something for every student that was there, whether they believe or don't believe, whether they're questioning their beliefs or whether they reject belief altogether. He's got something for all of them. He, at the end of the day, he offers hope, but he does it through his faith story. And so grateful, and it's always so nice to hear him sing live too. Like his music is beautiful. So
it is.
He was popping out some songs from his acoustic sessions and things like that. So, but the songs all have context. He tells his story and said, and here's a song I wrote that about that, and it's it all works out really well. And you can tell someone's done a good job when it goes to question time and there are lots of questions. And I feel like he had more questions this year than he's ever had before from our students.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And the questions went from the very benign, from things like, So when's the movie about your book coming out? Things like that. And, when did you learn to play music? And what happens to that friend you spoke of? Things like that, which is good because there's the connection there. But then, so a student said, "Do you ever doubt your faith in God?" And it was an opportunity for him to speak about faith in another kind of way. So that was beautiful.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
And the other big thing that happened in the Stanton household is that our older son Damien has started secondary school. He's in year 7 child. He suddenly grew up just like that. Yeah, we're stunned, like seeing him in a shirt and a blazer.
Exactly. I was saying when you guys come over for our barbecue, and I see this tall boy coming in and going, "Hello, Damien?" Goes, "Yeah, hey."
Yeah.
And
who's this young man?
And then Damien goes, and then your youngest son, Alex, comes in and goes, "Is that Damien?" "No, it's not Damien. That's not Damien. That's Alex."
Because Alex looks a lot like Damien, a younger Damien, doesn't he? Now, yeah, that's right.
It was so similar, and I think
I get their photos mixed up a lot. Their younger photos, their toddler photos.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah, but. It's good. I'm actually really happy. He's had a very positive start. All credit to his teachers for. I'm just so impressed with the way that his teachers have given him a very positive start to high school. So he's had a few big person moments. So he walks to the bus. He catches the bus to school. So he's very independent.
Here we go. That's
on the first day, we thought. So on the first day, it was the first day of those Year 12 reflection days as well.
Mm-hmm,
so I had to get to the venue at 9 a.m. So between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. I would set everything up.
Exactly.
So I didn't have to leave the house till 8:30, and Damien's bus arrives at 7:45, I think it is.
Yeah,
it's in the morning. So he gets picked. So it's early, but he gets picked up at 7:45. So we thought, as a nice thing, we would drive him to just before crossing the Princes Highway, which is where the bus is, so we could watch him catch the bus. So we drove him to the crossing. He crossed the road, got to the bus stop. We were just sitting there watching. There's an app that you can look at now to watch where the bus is. So we were watching the bus, get closer and closer.
It's good.
The bus was 7 minutes away, and Isabel turned to me and said, "Has Damien got his mask?" And my heart sank, because the rule is that on buses and public transport you have to wear a mask.
You have to wear a mask. Yeah.
Isabel had driven the car, so I said, "Isabel, let's swap seats." So we swapped driver's seats. I said, "Leave this to me. We're 7 minutes, right?" So before that, I called Damien on his phone. And we were talking across the Princess Highway. We could see each other. I said, "Oh, Damien, have you got your mask?" And he goes, "Oh, no." So I said, "All right." I said, "Son, I got this. Hang on." So Isabel, swap seats. So drove a little bit faster than you're supposed to. Not by much, yeah. Sorry, Victoria, please don't listen to this too closely, yeah. So I didn't speed, but got as home as I can.
Definitely.
Ran as fast as I could. I broke the speed limit running from the car into the house. And you know what's annoying? When you had to unlock 3 locks, you got the screen doors double locked, the front doors double locked, and all. Then I had to turn off the home alarm.
I was about to say, you got an alarm as well.
Turn off the alarm.
Oh my gosh.
Find the right mask. There were 2, and I'm like, "Oh, which is here?" So I ran out and I held them both to Isabel, and I said, "Which one? Which one?" She's like, that one. So I grabbed the mask, locked the doors, turned on the alarm, not in that order, ran to the car, drove back across the Princess Highway, stopped maybe 20 meters from the bus stop, and Isabel ran out and gave it to him. And then we sat, and then 2 minutes later, fortunately, the bus came and it picked him up and took him to school. So
goodness me.
Yeah, so fun morning. Since then, everything's gone really well, but we learned our lesson on the first morning.
What can you do, dude? What can you do?
What can you do? That's right.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's where we're up to. So why don't we move on to our first topic now, and we're going to talk about faith beyond borders.
Well, I'm actually feeling rather good about this. I think we've all arrived at a very special place, eh? Oh. Spiritually, ecumenically.
How do you make somebody love you without affecting free will?
Welcome to my world, son. You come up with an answer to that one, you let me know.
Yes, I had to work very hard to pass Latin and theology.
Oh, quite. Those are, of course, the most important things.
Oh, yeah.
I'd sit this one out, Cap.
I don't see how I can.
These guys come from legend. They're basically gods.
There's only one god, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
So Faith Beyond Borders is a topic where we talk about how, faith topics and how sometimes people go beyond the borders of the church and their faith moves into the rest of the world. And Lino, I found a video that was shared by our parish priest, speaking of Father Michael Payapili. He found this broadcast that was streamed live on Facebook and shared it on his Facebook page. And it was for February 1st. And it's Australia's brand new national day called I Forgive Day. And I didn't know this was coming. Now, you and I and Caroline, we had no idea. But the three of us last year, just after Easter, I remember we spoke about the Abdullah and the Sacco family.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because Archbishop Anthony Fisher had invited them to his Easter Sunday morning mass to speak about forgiveness and how. So the background is that these two families. They had 4 children, 3 from the Abdullah family, and 1 from the Sacco family. And these were Anthony, Angelina, Sienna, and Veronique. And these four children of varying ages, they were sadly killed by a driver who was drunk and on drugs at the same time. And sadly, there was an accident where their lives were taken on that day as they just went out, shopping for ice cream, to get ice cream. Yeah, just an ordinary thing that kids do. So a huge tragedy. And 48 hours later, the mother went to the scene. The parents went to the scene where the driver was, recounting what had happened or whatever, and forgave him. Which,
goodness me.
Yeah, which feels incomprehensible. It's such a big thing to forgive a person for. But they all spoke about their Christian faith and how their reliance on Jesus was a big factor in guiding them in how to act next. And so what happened now is on the 31st of January, they had a service, and present was Scott Morrison, our Prime Minister, the Premier of New South Wales, Gladys Berejiklian, and politicians from all sides of politics, and then other, special guests from mental health services and other things like that.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
And they launched I Forgive Day. So this was an idea of the family that was then picked up by politicians, and it took off, and it's a thing now. I didn't know this was coming. I'm not sure if most of Australia knows that this has happened either. But
it would have, it
was live streamed on Facebook.
It was on Facebook and on Channel 7. Yeah, and I don't know if the other what is it called? The other channels would have not broadcasted, but mentioned it on their channels. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I haven't done a Google search to see what kind of media coverage it had. Maybe it had a bit, but I'm not too
just
sure.
Just a bit, not much. Yeah.
I did see on Facebook that 1,500 people commented, and the comments were beautiful. A rare show of solidarity and support that you see on Facebook sometimes. Oh, yeah, I shouldn't say rare, but generally you don't read the comments of things because they tend not to be too nice or uplifting, but this was the complete opposite. There were over 1,500 comments, and I'll share the link to this service as well. So, Lino, you and I watched the service. I might just say a couple of things about it. I have to say, I couldn't stop the tears flowing. First of all, because and I wasn't sad. I wasn't crying out of sadness. I was just the incredible bravery of the families, and we're talking about the parents. We're talking about the siblings. These there were siblings in both families who who are still alive. And are living with the loss of their brothers and sisters, and also just the incredible effect they were having on the people in the room, and anyone who was listening. I was just, maybe there were tears of joy, maybe there were, I don't know. It wasn't sadness, but I was moved, and this was just watching a repeat of a live stream as well. So we'll share it with we'll share it with all of our listeners if you'd like to watch the service as well. But just a couple of things. The mother, Layla Abdullah, and the father, Danny Abdullah, they spoke, and they were saying things like, how could I not forgive? Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister, he was saying things like forgiveness is victory over hatred. It's a path to a better society.
Exactly.
He said we live in an age of anger and outrage, but he said you can choose grace. He said, he talked about Jesus's words on the cross as our Prime Minister saying, But what about when Jesus said, Father, forgive them, from the cross? So
yeah, exactly.
these were all beautiful. The other thing I wanted to mention, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here.
Oh, good.
Because there were so many things. But Layla, the mother of three of these children, said, the reason why we have I Forgive Day, why we're launching it, is there's power in forgiveness. It's a sign of strength. It gives freedom. It's a gift from God. She said, a lot of people said, why did we forgive? And she said there are two reasons. One is, first and foremost, because we're a Christian. And she said, rely on God's words. She also mentioned Jesus saying from the cross, saying, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they do. And she said, we pray the Lord's Prayer. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a powerful application of putting prayer into action. Those
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
And I think we wouldn't demand it of them. We wouldn't expect it because it's such a difficult thing. But they've gone and made the choice to do it, haven't they?
Yeah,
I can't even fathom what it's like to be in their situation.
Oh, my goodness
and they've
me.
become such powerful witnesses for all of us. And I think that's so amazing. So Danny, the father, he said that they teach their kids to love and to forgive every day.
Wow.
And he said it starts in your heart, it goes to the family, it spreads to the wider community. And he also said that that there's not that this day, I Forgive Day, or sorry, Layla said this, it's not a day of tragedy, but it's a day of forgiveness and celebration. It's a day to celebrate forgiveness. And Scott Morrison said this, and she said this as well. This is a day to forgive people, to think about people you need to forgive, and also to think about people that you may need to go and ask for forgiveness as well.
Yeah,
so it's a day of healing as well. And I just want to say a couple of things briefly about what Danny said as well as the father, because we talk about, if I was to say, where could I look for role models of good mothers? Yeah, but good mothers and good fathers that are ordinary, not celebrity, I guess, in a way. I would say that these two have really hit hard to me as role models of just ordinary people.
Yeah, exactly.
Who have exemplified by their lives what it means to be, a good mother, a good father.
Oh, yeah.
A good man, a good woman, and just a good person as well.
Exactly.
And the thing is, like, the father said that, are we hurting? Yes, we hurt. And he said, I feel the void of their loss. I wish, I wish I could still talk to them, all the things that he said. But he said he had to make a choice now. He could live in despair. He could make bad choices, with his grief. But he said, no, he said, he turns to God, and he said Jesus was the model for helping him to navigate his way out of, into the darkness, out of the darkness. And how to forgive. And a lot of them were repeating that phrase, Father, forgive them. So he said, we chose to turn our tragedy into a greater goodness. Anyway, there are so many things, so many notes that I took, he was asked this. Here's what I was looking for. He said, someone said, why don't you blame God? And he said, where can I go but God? So he needed Jesus to help him. Jesus was the role model for forgiving.
Exactly. Wow.
So I was blown away by this service, and I recommend if anyone hasn't, could find a spare hour. An hour is a long time, but if you find an hour to sit down and watch it, or if you want to skip the official speeches and just go to Danny and Layla's speeches, they were amazing. There's I don't have the words to describe how amazing their modeling of forgiveness is, and how important I think it is for us today as a society to see things like this, so that we can to help build a better society and build better relationships.
Exactly.
Lino,
exactly.
You had a chance to watch as well. Any takeaways? Anything that stood out to you?
Well, the most one came out from when Scott Morrison said the prayer from Saint Francis of Assisi.
Yes,
and for everyone who knows that prayer, it really sums up what that service is in a sense.
Yeah.
So I like to just say the prayer a little bit and say at the start it says, "Lord, make me an instrument of your peace." It's like this world needs a lot more peace. We need more instruments to make peace, and where there is hatred, let me sow love. After this accident, I wouldn't say it's a normal thing for us to first come into our mind is just negativity and hate and a lot of questions. Why? Why did you do this? how could you do this and all that stuff. So, we need the Lord to sow love in our hearts more than this hatred. Where there is injury, pardon; where there is doubt, faith; where there is despair, hope; where there is darkness, light; where there is sadness, joy. All that line there, it really sums up on what happened to that on that day, and in a sense that is what we need to go when we need to pray to God for within our hearts, within our souls. Faith, hope, light, and joy, and they were talking about a lot of that in the service as well. Those 4 things, man, and what was the other one? I may not much seek to be consoled as to console to be understood, and as to understand. Now, a lot of people were thinking, I can't understand why this family wants to forgive a person who has just I don't be a bit bored. Well, killed your children. How can you forgive a person who does that? There's a lot of questions in that, and this world needs to be, I would say, taught to find more forgiveness in this world. And there was one part in the speech as well was about justice, Lindsay.
Yes.
We still find justice by love, in a sense. I can't remember what it was really that part, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
About that part.
I just wondered. So, I mean, with justice, clearly, the driver committed a crime, and so the law will be the law and things like that. But but justice is still based on love as well. Exactly. And so we would never say something like, if someone commits a crime, let them walk free. But the thing is, forgiveness. I think of, for example, John Paul II. We've talked about this on the podcast before. He was shot by someone who tried to assassinate him.
Exactly.
He did go and visit the would-be assassin in prison, and forgive him. But the guy still had to. He's free now, but he did have to serve a sentence in jail because the law is the law. But when she was talking about justice, justice is also based on love as well, isn't it? It's about, even though this person has done something terrible, we don't condemn the person, but we do expect them. I guess the phrase is to repay their debt to society. But we, in a way, I guess, working towards their rehabilitation as well. A person who repays their debt to society, the goal, I would hope, but I don't know, we're not in a perfect world, but the goal would be that they come out a better person. And I'm guessing, I don't know what happened when this person felt that forgiveness, but I'm assuming that that this forgiveness will have some kind of a positive benefit in that driver's life, down the road as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. If they can't hate the driver, then neither should we. To be honest, it's a very tough call. It's a very tough call.
It is.
But they're setting again. These are ordinary people. They're not extraordinary. Well, they're extraordinary in what they've done. But they are ordinary people. And they're setting example for other ordinary people to think about as well.
Exactly. And the last part is part of the Saint Francis of Assisi's prayers: to be loved as to love, for it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And that part about pardoning and as in love, it's those two connected in finding forgiveness, I believe, is a great combination to find within yourself to do that. And his family has done that. It's incredible, Linz. When Scott Morrison said that with St. Francis of Assisi's prayer, I said, wait a minute, I have to. He said it actually. He said it.
He recited it. Yeah,
recited it and everything. And I thought that is perfectly what he was saying.
It fits, doesn't it? Well, and they recited the Our Father as well. So they prayed the Our Father at the beginning.
Exactly, and the Our Father. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good, Lindsay. It was so good. Yeah.
It was amazing. It was also an interfaith service. So they had people from different faith traditions there looking at that universal power of forgiveness. Layla also quoted from the Gospels that when Jesus is asked, how many times should I forgive? And he says, 7 times. And he says, not 7 times, but 7 times 70. So, and she quoted that to talk about the totality of her forgiveness, the completeness. So it's forgiveness without any holding anything back.
Exactly.
So and she said that there's healing in that. So again, they both acknowledge that the pain is there. It's all it hasn't stopped. It's the same.
Exactly.
But they're able to live because they've had that opportunity to forgive the person as well.
Forgive as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a powerful thing. I'm sorry. I'm just lost for words sometimes on this as well, because I'm speechless in the sense, because this is so profound.
It is.
And it's so profound that I think more people need to know about it. And I think stories of forgiveness need to be shared. And on that note, they've launched a website called, it's iforgive.com. And it is a story where they're collecting testimonies of people's forgiveness, and they're offering mental health services and support as well. So it's being supported by the Australian government as well. So it is a great resource, and I need to do some more searching on it. But it looks like a great resource where people's stories of forgiveness can be shared, and they want to start a movement. They want their children's deaths to be not just the full stop to the story, but the beginning of a movement of forgiveness in this country and around the world. And I think that's something we can all throw our support behind without a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, Lino, we thought you and I were having a chat before the podcast, and I thought do you and I have any stories of without going into anything too deep, but do we have any stories of a time where we forgave someone, or where we had experienced the forgiveness of anyone? So can you I haven't given you much time to think about it, but can you recall any stories of forgiveness in your life?
Oh wow. I don't know. I hopefully I don't annoy a lot of people.
All the time.
Oh gosh. Oh geez, sorry, Dom. To ask for forgiveness and them to come for forgiveness. I can't. I think it was one time. I think it was at work one time, and someone said something about me. Idle gossip, and then it came, I think, from a small gossip thing to a huge, not huge, but a big issue, in the sense that even it involved my my supervisor, my manager, and everything. I had to go, what's going on here? And I go, I can't tell you guys what it really was.
That's all right.
But, you guys know really what it is. In the sense, it's in a sense, I'll let you know later, Lance, what it was. Yeah. But I had to find myself to forgive the person who started that rumor.
Sure.
And I said, look, it's not true. I had to talk to the person and say, whatever you said was not true. And it took me a long while to forgive that person. I can't explain what it was. Maybe I was too young and naive, in a sense. You know what I mean? Or just full of maybe just anger and frustration and stuff like that, and not stepping back and thinking about what it was. But in the end, I did go to the person. I forgave the person for what they did.
Yep.
And I just left it like that. And then maybe I think it was about a few months later, the person left work and everything. But when I forgave that person, it did lift a huge load off me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one thing was from that service that really got into my mind was, hatred is a weed. That's what I thought. And I was like, that is so true. Hatred is a weed which will grow, infest inside you until you can pull it out. And by pulling it out, you have to find forgiveness in your heart to get it out. And then, when I forgave that person, Lindsay, was, it just, not because of the weed thing, but because of just a heavy load on my shoulders and my heart and my mind, and it felt so great. It's the journey towards forgiving the person that is the hardest as well.
Yeah.
It'll take a while. It does take a while. I was just thinking to myself, now this is a whole different topic now, is that if I had a child or child, and you're in the same circumstance.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking to myself, the first thing I'll think about at first would be, not anger, but or just frustration as well.
Yeah, and there'd be a lot of sorrow. Like, you have to navigate exactly, that all of a sudden. Yeah,
yeah, a lot of thinking, what happened, a lot of whys. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
which is a lot of what they were talking about in that service we watched as well. The parents had a lot of that.
Exactly.
Maybe they were asking why, but then they were being asked, why did you forgive too? So that there's a lot of why did this, why this, why that, there's a lot of those questions. Like, people want to know, why did you forgive? And they're saying, why did this happen? So there's a lot to be discovered, a lot of wisdom to be discovered in the questioning of those tragedies, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So wow, look, just that's what would happen if it happened to us, and then I'm thinking, what would it happen to one of my close friends? What happened, Lindsay? What would happen to to you?
I'm still going, don't worry. Still
yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
to quite a close, Jerry and everyone else who's close to us. When I find out this happened, and first, will you have that forgiveness in your heart? I believe there will be a journey through it.
Yeah.
But this family, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it took them to forgive the person, but they did, and it's a great, and I think also they were saying about forgiveness being a virtue, in a sense. And me personally, I'm still learning. I still have to learn that virtue.
And we always are.
Yeah, exactly.
And you asked that question, how long did it take to forgive? She said 48 hours. Or one of them in that service,
that
48
was great.
hours.
Wow.
Which is, again, incredible.
Incredible. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'll tell you a brief story. I might have shared this on the podcast before, but I'll keep it brief because I forgot if I had mentioned it, but in last year or the year before. But there was this was in my role as a teacher a few years back now. There was I was on yard duty at the canteen with the students buy their lunch. And there was a student who was told by I know, that's right. He was cutting in line. He wanted to avoid the long lines. He cut in, and I was like, "Oh, look, sorry, you have to go to the back. Like everyone else, got to be fair." And he didn't take very well to that, and he started swearing at me. He wasn't shouting, but he was swearing and telling me where to go and whatever else. And look, and I was calm. I never got angry. I was like, "Look, sorry, I'm sorry about all this, but you do have to go to the back." And then he started saying mean things, and then he walked out, and he said some really mean things, like he said, "Nobody likes you anyway, you're not important," like all that. It's like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, it was really, really hurtful kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay.
And so that actually stayed with me for a while. And every time I saw him on the yard, it would trigger like that really terrible feeling I had of, like, I don't know what the feeling was. It wasn't anger, but I think it was hurt. It would trigger the hurt. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And man, and it bothered me. It cut me down. It kind of, like, I didn't show it outwardly, but
wow.
It kind of took away a bit of my confidence in myself to work with students, because I thought maybe I failed really badly in that situation. I don't know. It's like maybe students won't listen to me. I kept doing my job. I didn't let it affect me professionally, but there were these questions I was asking. Anyway, I'm going to go shorten the story. A couple of months later, I was on yard duty again in the canteen, because it's every 2 weeks you have the same yard duty. So I was in the canteen.
Yeah.
And he was there. And I thought, all right,
here we go.
I'll just stay out of his way. If he tries to cut in, I'll take care of it, but I'll stay out of his way otherwise. He walked up to me and he goes, "Oh, sir, I didn't bring any money for lunch. Can you help me out?" And so like Danny said in that speech, I could have made a choice. I could have said, "Well, you know what? You were mean to me, so you can go away now." I didn't say that.
Ooh, yeah,
I didn't say that.
Exactly,
and I would never would.
Exactly.
I never would anyway. But
yeah.
But I did think I had to bring it up. So I said to him, I said, "Look, I will help you." I said, "But I want you to remember this. I don't know if you remember, but a little while ago, you were actually extremely rude to me." And he kind of got a bit shy, like embarrassed in a sense, like he was, he kind of felt ashamed of his. He's like, he couldn't use words. And I said, "I want you to know it's okay. I want you to know that that I respect you, and of course I'm happy to help you. So when it was time, I bought his lunch.
Nice.
And you know what? It was the best. It was that liberating feeling.
It is.
And that student and I, we maintained a really good relationship for the rest of his time at school. And we would talk when we saw it. So at lunch, when I'd see him, we'd talk. He would tell me about his career plans, and we would talk about things like that and what's going on in his life.
Good.
And it was restoring and liberating. So it was the power of forgiveness, and just like the family said, it was based on how Jesus taught us to navigate things like this.
That's exactly.
If God can forgive the whole world, and we're talking about every person who's existed and every person who will existed, so I can't even count how many billions that would be.
Exactly.
Yeah, surely you and I, Lino, can forgive when someone disappoints us.
Exactly.
If these mothers and fathers from these two families could forgive for the death of 4 children, surely we can forgive for some of those more minor things. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for their homily, in a sense, on the gospel. Their testimony on how God can help us to navigate these very, very, very difficult moments where we need to forgive.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah, definitely. Wow.
All right. So good discussion. I think you and I are a bit tongue-tied and speechless for part of it, because it's such
it's a very
trying to believe and fathom what's happened.
Exactly. Yeah. Our faith is I think forgiveness is a huge part of our faith. Our Catholic faith, and that's the biggest part. Oh, no, not only Catholic faith. Sorry, Christian faith, and that's the most difficult virtue to really work on. And then, like we said before, man, this world's about either negativity and injustice, vengeance, get back, and I'm not going to blame the movies, because the majority of the movies are like that. Anyway,
it's just typical plot telling.
Plot telling.
That's fiction. Yeah.
It's like and then but it's something that we need to work more on too. And once we do that, and with with this family helping us and showing us the way, it's great. It's a great step.
Yeah. And forgiveness, while it's emphasized in Christianity, it's not exclusive to Christianity. It's a common human thing that we can all access.
Exactly.
It's liberating regardless of why you choose to forgive, what your background is. It just so happens that in Christianity and in quite a few other faith traditions as well, that we place emphasis on it, and we say this is if God can forgive, then let us look at how we can forgive as well.
Exactly.
The last thing I'll say on this before we move on is that our faith is not some kind of tool that we can use to magic away the difficulties of our lives. These parents are still hurting. They've mentioned, they're feeling the tragedy and the loss. However, what they said is there's a way forward through our faith.
Exactly.
And forgiveness is that, our faith says we can forgive, and the totality of that forgiveness is the totality of the healing that they're experiencing right now as well, to be able to move forward.
Exactly.
All right. Great discussion, Lino. Let's move on.
Man. Yep.
Yeah. And we're going to bravely navigate the world of science.
What a fine day for science.
You have any hobbies?
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
Can you reverse the polarity?
I'll do my best.
Now, Lino, you and I cannot do a science topic like Caroline can, and we're never going to pick anything that we have to explain. I tried it once, and it wasn't good.
No.
However, we did find a fun topic, and this is it's the 50th anniversary around this time of the year. It's 50 years ago since an Apollo 14 astronaut, Alan Sheppard, hit a golf ball 40 yards on the moon. And now the reason this story, the reason why this story was released is because there was a person or some people who analyzed some high-res image photos of where the ball went, or where some of the balls went, to try and work out how far the ball actually went. So 40 yards is what they say. Now, a yard for us, so a yard is just under a meter from my understanding. So we're talking like 30-something meters on the moon. Yeah. So I'll just tell the quick story and we'll say a couple of things about it. Mm-hmm. So 50 years ago, NASA astronaut Alan B. Sheppard made history, and I'm using an Ars Technica website article for this. I'll share that in the show notes. Made space history when he took a few swings of golf on the moon during the Apollo 14 mission, successfully hitting 2 golf balls across the lunar surface. Space enthusiasts have debated for decades just how far that second ball traveled, and it seems now we have an answer. And this was imaging specialist Andy Saunders, who, like I said, analyzed the images, and he said that one ball went roughly 24 yards and the second one went roughly 40 yards. So the story is that that Alan Sheppard's fondness for cheeky irreverence had popped up occasionally during his successful NASA naval career, most notably when he was a test pilot at the Naval Air Station Patcherson River in Maryland. He was nearly court-martialed for looping the Chesapeake Bay Bridge during a test flight, but fortunately his superiors intervened. When President Dwight Eisenhower established NASA in 1959, Sheppard was selected as one of the Mercury astronauts, so for a different mission. He developed an illness where he had too much fluid in his ear, so he ended up missing that mission. And then but then he did end up on a future Apollo mission. So he went to the moon. But the idea for the stunt came out of 1970 by a visit from the comedian Bob Hope to NASA headquarters in Houston.
Oh, Bob Hope.
Yeah, right. So,
he likes his golf.
Yep. So he was an avid golfer. He cracked a joke about hitting a golf ball on the moon. And Sheppard thought this was an excellent idea because it would convey to people the difference between the gravity on Earth and the gravity on the moon.
Exactly.
So he paid a pro golfer, Jack Harden, at the River Oaks Country Club in Houston to adapt a Wilson Staff 6-iron head so that it could be attached to a collapsible aluminium and Teflon sample collector.
I see a picture of it. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so there's a picture of it in the link here, in the links in this article. So if everyone wants to see a picture of it, it's pretty amazing. So once NASA's Technical Services Division added some finishing touches, Sheppard practiced his golf swing at a course in Houston while wearing his 200-plus pound spacesuit in preparation. So
heavy. That is heavy.
So, most popular stories say that he smuggled the golf balls onto the spacecraft, but that's not actually true. So what he said was, when he was interviewed later, was he ran the idea past the then NASA director Bob Gilruth, who was initially opposed but relented once Sheppard laid out the precise details. Sheppard also assured Gilruth that the stunt would only be done once all the official exploration tasks had been completed, and then only if the mission had gone off without a hitch. So I'm imagining him in the office going, please let me play golf on the moon. I'm only going to get to go once. I really want to play golf on the moon. You know, just imagining.
Work before play, in a sense.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mission before play.
So here's how it's described. On February the 6th, Sheppard brought out the club and 2 balls. His spacesuit was too bulky to use both hands, so he swung the makeshift club with just his right hand. After 2 swings that were more dirt than ball, he made contact with the ball on his 3rd swing, shanking it into a nearby crater, which by the way reminds me of how I play golf, with just hitting into a close bunker. Lino, I don't remember if you remember my Bucks Day that you and Jerry organised, and where we played golf with about 15 other people.
Yes.
So that I had to have the first swing, being the buck.
Yes.
And it was pretty terrible. I remember you guys all watching me, so there was enough pressure as it was, just having people watching me play golf. And I smacked the ball as hard as I possibly could, and it probably went about 3 meters off to the left into some bushes. So I can totally.
It was a great swing, Lindsay. You had a great swing, but the connection, I think, he went boom on the other side. Oh no! Yeah. Oh no!
So when Alan shanked the ball, Fred Hayes, who was watching from Mission Control, says, "Looks like a slice to me, Al." So they make a bit of fun of him. So Sheppard nailed his 4th attempt. However, he sent the ball soaring out of camera range and declared that it traveled for miles and miles, which it didn't. But as a joke, that's what he said. But as he anticipated, the impressive 30 seconds time of flight perfectly showcased the difference in gravity between Earth and the moon. Not to be left out, crewmate Edgar Mitchell used a pole from a solar wind experiment as a javelin, which landed near the first golf ball. Once back on Earth, Sheppard donated the makeshift club to the USGA Museum, and there's a reproduction in the Smithsonian, which there are links to pictures of. So there are archival photos that you can see about this. So it's anyway, I thought it was quite an interesting story. I had to check the comments, Lito, because the comments, obviously, people are going to say interesting things. One person commented, now we know what they meant when they said the eagle has landed.
Exactly.
So I thought that was brilliant. Anyway, so we'll share that in the show notes. Lino, golf on the moon, what do you think? Do you think there's any other sports they should try on the moon to test out gravity?
Oh, look, there's definitely a lot of sports things they could do on the moon. Look, for you and I, we love our soccer. There's definitely going to kick a soccer ball there. Of course,
that would be the most frustrating game of soccer, wouldn't it?
Oh my goodness me! And I can only imagine Aussie rules.
Oh boy, yeah.
Can you imagine trying to bounce the ball back to you? No, it just won't work. It just won't.
Can you imagine trying to tackle someone? You go for a jump and then you do a specky. I mean, you jump up and you end up jumping over the player rather than actually. Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. And it's like, oh, where's the ball? Just so many sports I could imagine. And did you say he used a flag as a javelin on there?
He used a piece of equipment, some scientific equipment as a javelin. Yeah.
Oh my goodness me! So that's another sport. He used javelin.
Yeah. What about a discus? That'd be interesting. Or a shot put. You'd be the longest shot put through. Wouldn't you
with the longest shot. You don't even need to use any exertion, wouldn't you? Carolina would be best at this. You just need to go. Boop.
Yeah, Caroline could tell us. Yeah.
It just float. It was like, oh my goodness me.
It would actually be interesting to see someone kick an Aussie rules football, though, wouldn't it? Like, just go for a kick just to see what would happen. Watch the trajectory of it going up and down again.
Exactly. You have to modify your spacesuit because you're moving. And the same with soccer. You don't want to move your legs too much, or if you what I mean. And all of a sudden, you just split. And
in fact,
just be careful.
In fact, a spacesuit would probably. It'd be almost impossible. You would almost have to get like a machine to kick it, like a robot leg to, to do it for you.
Exactly. You might as well do that. Oh, no, there's so many ideas. We're going to get in trouble with this, but why not?
Yeah. Well, they'll have to try these things. Yeah. Now, NASA will be sending the Artemis missions. The first one is slated for the end of this year, which is a non. So there are no astronauts on it, but it's a flight to the moon, and they'll be laid out with astronauts. I want to see them play mini golf on the moon just for a bit of fun. I just want to see what that would be like. Yeah.
Why not? I think mini golf will probably work better than normal golf.
Yeah. Can you imagine the obstacle courses on that?
Oh my goodness me! Oh, this could be totally crazy, man. It would be totally crazy. Oh gosh.
Do you think aliens were watching them play golf on the moon that day and going, ugh,
no. I did probably go, this is interesting. Oh, like just what Spock will say, like in Star Trek. Interesting. Look at it.
Fascinating.
That was it. Very fascinating, not interesting. Yeah.
This is what happens when you let a species that doesn't have anti-gravity try and play golf on the moon.
They'll probably go, can we join? Of course, come and join. Let's play the sport.
Yeah, we could have an intergalactic or an interspecies golf tournament on the moon.
Lindsay,
I would pay to see that.
Lindsay, Yep. From about 100 years from now,
I'd pay per view to see that.
Will have an intergalactic World Cup. For soccer.
No, international. What is it? I lost the word for a second. You know what I'm talking about. Galactic.
Intergalactic.
Interplanetary.
Yep. World soccer, because we'll have colonized Mars and all the other planets. I'm not kidding. Will we see in the launches of SpaceX?
Yeah, they want to get to Mars. They're keen. Yep.
And it will get there. It will get there. So that's all I can say.
Yep. All right, let's stop talking about science before we get in trouble with Caroline now. How's it?
Hey, Caroline!
Let's move on. Yeah, we survived a science segment. Well done, Lino.
Yay!
All right. So let's have a brief final segment now on entertainment.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
This is not what we came here to do.
No, but it's what I'm going to do.
I have a plan. You've got a plan. I have part of a plan. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
So, Lino, very briefly, just tell me, you have been watching, you've discovered the Jack Ryan series, a great series on Amazon, and you're a few episodes into the first season. How's it going?
It's been good. I can't, for the life of me, remember the main actor.
Is it John Krasinski? How do you say his name? No.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it wrong.
Oh, Yep. So, what's his name? Oh my
Look at us madly Googling as we...
Oh yeah, I'm trying madly Googling who this dude is. John Krasinski.
Yeah, John Krasinski, John. There we are, yes.
And now, I've seen him in The Office, the comedy, the TV comedy. And of course, they're the same producers of Space Force, which I can't wait for them to come back. It's season 2. And it's so different than what he does here. And it's a great series. I'm just thinking, I know they're doing a debasing of the character from, of course, Tom Clancy, rest his soul.
Yes, from the novels, yeah.
Yeah, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, but he looks much younger than the Harrison Ford days.
Yes,
so I don't know if this is earlier when he was younger, or maybe it's just maybe they've done a different timeline. You know what I mean?
My understanding is that it's loosely based on the novels, so they're not following the novels, really closely. They're taking stories, adapting, changing them a little bit. Okay. Yeah, but it is his early career to start with. From you see him as an analyst in the in a back office in the first in the first episode. Yeah, so it's a great series though. Really enjoyed it. I've watched both seasons, and it's worth hanging on to. They're both very interesting and different stories. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
We're still watching Star Trek original series.
Oh, you're up to the original series, yeah?
Yeah, we're still watching that. Up to season 2 now, I believe. Yep. Season 2, episode 10. Yeah. Actually, we're up to episode 10. We're not maybe watch it tonight.
What's the latest story? What's the latest one you watched? What was it?
Well, okay. For all the Trekkie fans there, I apologize if I don't get this guy's first name right, but Cochrane. This is the episode
Zephyr Cochrane. Okay, that one.
Right.
Yes,
Zephyr Cochrane. And I went, that sounds so familiar. Wait a minute. He's the one who... Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get done by from Trekkie fans here. He was the one. Is it the one who invented warp?
That's right, warp drive. Yeah, he invented the warp drive for
warp drive
in Star Trek. That's right.
Yeah, that's right, because he got the idea from the Vulcans. Is that correct? Because the Vulcans on First Contact. Oh no, here we go. Yeah.
Well, Lino, if you've watched Star Trek First Contact,
which I have,
so he invented the warp drive based on reusing old nuclear missile technology. So he used it to create a spaceship with a warp drive. Okay. So they went to warp. Narrowly missed being destroyed by the Borg, according to the film. And there were Vulcans close enough to Earth to pick up the signal, the warp signature of that ship, and so they came to Earth and said hello.
Hello. That's right. Okay.
Just putting my geek credentials out there.
No, all good. That's right, mate. I was, thank goodness, because I thought we stole the technology from the Vulcans, but we didn't. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah.
No.
So
original human technology. Yep.
Yeah. We just watched that last night, and it was like, like I said, wait a minute, Zephyr Cochrane. He sounds familiar. And I had to Google him, of course, and I go, yes, of course, he's the one who invented warp drive.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking he was missing for 150 years. He's been stranded on that. He was
planet
on the planet, for 150 years with a. How can I say it?
What, an energy creature or something? I haven't seen the episode, but yes, yeah.
But like I was saying to all previous episodes, gosh, you gotta love the special effects. But it was so cool. You know what I mean?
Are you watching the remastered version? Aren't you? Is it on Netflix?
Yes, it is. It's remastered. Okay,
so you're watching the remastered. So they put computer graphics in to replace
just a bit
which
better.
Makes it watchable for me, to be honest. It makes
Yep.
It's increased my appreciation of the original series. I actually, the original series is actually my favorite Star Trek series.
Okay.
Of all time.
Okay.
And I know that some really, really terrible episodes in there as well. Like there are some bad, oh my gosh, Spock's brain. Let me just put that out there, right? And some other ones that are really bad. But on the opposite side, there are some classic, brilliant, awesome episodes. Yeah, things what was it? The Balance of Terror with there's the Romulan ship that they're chasing. Yeah, you would have seen that in season 1.
Yeah, season 1. Yep.
What's it? The Doomsday Machine with the
Doomsday.
The big, that episode. Oh my gosh, is amazing. There was one I really liked. Court Martial was really good, where Kirk is accused of killing a crew member.
Crew member. Yeah.
And there was the other one. I'm just thinking of the ones that stand out. There are other great ones too. But another one that stood out was the one where there's a dictator who becomes a Shakespearean actor. I forgot what it's called, with a
yes. Yes,
you know,
I can't
with
remember.
a sort of intergalactic Shakespearean acting group.
Yes,
I don't know why. I actually really like that episode. It's just I don't know what it is. Yeah, yeah. But that stood out to me, and there's other good ones as well. And there's some, like I said, Spock's Brain and some others that are just like, come on. Yeah.
Yes, right.
And if you'd like some analysis of these episodes, you can listen to Secrets of Star Trek on SQPN.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Because
Yeah.
I when I watched this last episode, and the entity was saying that I can't remember what she was saying. People, if you want to watch the episode, it's on. So it's season 2, episode 9. Don't quote me if I'm wrong with that, but if you find that. But then the entity was going, man can't live by himself. He needs a companion, and that was what. And when I looked at, you guys in the Secrets of Star Trek will get really deep into that. When I looked at that message and how William Shatner was explaining to it, it felt like he was. How can you say, Liz? He was on he was talking to an audience of how we humans need to be together. You know what I mean?
No doubt the writers were. I mean,
really?
Star Trek has always been known for having a bit of preachiness to the audience as well.
Exactly.
So no doubt,
there'd
be a bit of that in there. It's not too bad. Yeah. City on the Edge of Forever. How could I forget that one? Have you seen that one where where McCoy is accidentally injected with a drug that makes him go hypo, and he goes through a portal that sends him into Earth's past? How's that for a plot line? But that was an amazing episode, and William Shatner's acting in that was top notch. I thought that was great.
He's Get used to William Shatner, because you watch him, then you watch him now. It's sort of a similarities, but then you look at it then, and it's like like you said to me, Lindsay, and I apologize for all the Trekkie fans. He is like a James Bond version of Star Trek. He's a James Bond.
Yeah. So okay, I get what you mean now. The character, the character habits, So great series. I mentioned this last week, but I finished watching it now. The Expanse season 5. So I'll be very quick. I won't say too much about it, but I thought season 5 was really good. You know, it got the story along. The finale blew my mind. Oh my goodness. So this for me is the second best finale. So I thought the season 3 finale so far for me has been the best of the finales of that show. But the season 5 finale is right up there. It was amazing. Wow. There's so many cliffhangers. And I just sat there with my mouth open, because the finale is like the cliffhanger setup is about 15 minutes in length of the episode. I sat there with my mouth going, whoa, you know, all these things that happens that change the story. Again, so far for me, The Expanse is the best sci-fi TV series I've ever seen. Just in terms of its storytelling, its characterization, and then also its attention to attempting to be more realistic about what space travel is like. You know, no warp drives. It all happens within the Earth's solar system.
Oh wow!
Alien mystery things that are happening in the background, and just amazing.
Because that's on Amazon Prime too. Because
on Amazon Prime,
I saw that.
You've got to get yourself into it. Yeah,
I gotta go watch it too, man.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up there, shall we? Yeah. So we had a long discussion, and again, we went overtime. We didn't intend to. Whoops.
Sorry, Dom. Again.
Whoops. We're going to give him a lot of editing to do. Whoops. He'll just edit it down to 1 minute. In spite. All right, so we want to thank you all so much for joining us for episode 49 of the Catholics of Oz. Before we go, though, we'd like to take a moment to thank some patrons of the show, of the network, I should say, who makes it possible for the Catholics of Oz to continue. So today, we would love to thank Rebecca R., Esteban M., J.S., Kim L., and Laura M. Through their generous donations at sqpn.com/give, they make it possible for the Catholics of Oz and all of the other shows at StarQuest to continue. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. And now is a great time to become a StarQuest patron. Thanks to a generous gift from a StarQuest supporter, when you start a new patron monthly pledge at sqpn.com/give, the first 3 months will be matched by an equal amount from our donor. So if you become a new patron at $10 a month, After 3 months, our donor will give $30 to StarQuest to support our shows, including this one, making your gift go even further. So if you've been thinking of becoming a StarQuest patron, now is the time, and I'll repeat that again. It's at sqpn.com/give. Also, we'd love to know your thoughts about today's topics. Have you heard a story of forgiveness or experienced forgiveness, a story you'd like to share? We'd love to know it. You're part of our community as a person who's listening. So we'd love to hear your experiences or stories that you've heard that are about forgiveness that have struck you. So you can send us feedback by visiting sqpn.com/Oz, and that's where you can find our show notes and links as well. You can also find us at the SQPN Facebook page at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. And also we have our own Facebook page as well at facebook.com/Catholics of Oz, spelt OZ at the end. Come and join us and see what we're posting there and join our discussions. And you can also email us at catholicsofOz@sqpn.com. Lino, thank you so much for being on the show today.
It's been awesome, guys. It's been awesome. Thank you, Liz.
No worries. And let's hope we can very soon become a trio again. We'll see how we
trio,
go.
yes.
Yeah. I'm going to get you two to pick up the slack. What's going on here?
Yeah, we'll
all right, and once again, I'm Lindsay Sant. Thank you so much for listening to episode 49 of the Catholics of Oz on StarQuest.